great was the first thing I thought of.
Uh-huh.
Because we live in an economy time, the way this economy has been, the credit card rates are rising, and on top of that, they're cutting your limit.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of put it to the side, and you kind of hold the credit card into things that you really have to have. Before it's kind of, you can be a little bit, sporadic with it, but now not so much. So it just gives you a great alternative to that credit card.
It makes sense in terms of it being an emergency credit card, if you want to treat it that way. So unexpected expenses, we want to be smarter about money. If I was being smart about money with mundane purchases, I wouldn't pay 15% interest.
Mm-hmm.
That is the only reason I can think of anyone would ever use this, is if your credit card was
Using this
maxed out.
approach.
Yeah.
But then I've got 2 credit cards that'll pay me 1%, 2%, 3% back on purchases.
I feel like they have studied the number one, the several complaints that people have about credit cards, and they addressed them all to the point that it's like, how could you not use it?
Because it's not going to go into credit card land, and become a pair of boots that you're paying off 10 years after you've worn them, So in that sense, it gives you a little bit more stability and control over your finances, I think.
Well, I think that identity theft potentially can be linked to your credit cards, and if you have something set up where you can you have as little identifying information as possible. You put the money in that you want, and then it also limits the amount that you'll spend so that you don't overspend.
That's nice, not having to enter a credit card number into cyberspace, which most sites try and be responsible with that. But I think that right there offers like the secure site.
I kind of put a footnote next to own terms, and I wrote down it sounds fishy, because there's always a hidden meaning to that.
PayPal, I know what that is. Credit card, I know what that is. That's my own credit card now. When you introduce Bill Me Later into the system, like there's like a third party, we feel like you're not in control. It's like someone foreign to you.
How is it going to affect your credit standing? Like, would it affect in any way, in a negative way, your credit report, even if you paid it off?
What is a safer way?
Well,
in your
PayPal or Bill Me Later are probably the 2 safer ways.
It seems to be, to me, more like it's going to be something that's positively placed in your life, that you're going to get this bill paid in 3 months. You're not going to be doing what you do when you have a credit card and letting it ride.
The one word I wrote down was irresponsible. That's what I thought when I read it.
Talk to me about irresponsible.
If you don't have some money in your budget for something, then you shouldn't buy it.
Any idea?
I see it as a link sometimes on shopping sites, and I don't quite know what it is, and I'm slightly distrustful of it, I suppose.
The alerts, yeah, I think that's great, because then it's gonna make me decide, okay, am I gonna pay this off so that I don't get hit retroactively?
And then the first late fee waived is another benefit.
I think that's a huge benefit. I mean, there are sometimes where you're like, oh crap, at the end you're like, uh-oh.
Sometimes you make a mistake.
Yeah.
It takes advantage of people's weaknesses, because it's like they don't have the discipline to save the money. They don't have the patience to hold out. They want it now, and they can't afford it, so they get it now. And then and a company like this loves it when that if happens, you're not able to pay for it, that's when they really make bank off of you.
I think the consumerism society that we live in, and the way MasterCard, Visa, Discover are all such vultures, that Bill Me Later tries to talk to the common man who lives on a budget.
What about the fact that it's linked through PayPal?
I know
'Cause 2 of you
PayPal.
mentioned it. It was?
I know PayPal and I trust PayPal.
Okay.
Bill Me Later is good. I like Bill Me Later. But this association with PayPal, I don't understand what the benefit is. It just seems unnecessary to associate Bill Me Later with PayPal.
Bill Me Later through PayPal, it just sounds a little bit more
confusing.
Yeah, complex, I guess.
So I'm just unclear still, even because it's like I'm clicking PayPal and then clicking this through PayPal. So why do I keep clicking? Why don't I just enter in the card or do PayPal?
It's kind of telling me I need to go to PayPal now and look at what I got.
And in what way is that not a positive for you? You said I don't like
I
it.
thought I was working with Bill Me Later. Now I'm on another site. So
And what feeling did that leave you with?
That's confusing. Because PayPal is confusing.
I just felt like Bill Me Later is like a convenient thing to do by reading the passage. Because, well, first of all, it's linked to PayPal, so something that I use regularly, something that I would choose to use regularly over something else. So all I have to do is just click the option.
This is another tool you can have in your belt.
Well, I love it at the holidays. I mean, I use it more at Christmas because I've already spent what I've allowed, and then I know I can spend a little extra on Bill Me Later.
I don't use online purchases for basic everyday items, Safeway, things of that. I use it for specific items I have to travel far to go get.
Sounds easy. Just you buy something and you check a box.
It is a 0% loan.
I had to buy a ticket on my phone, my BlackBerry, on Amtrak.com, and I was just thinking it was so hard. It took me like 10 tries to like buy the ticket because I kept messing up. I had a couple drinks and like I couldn't get like the numbers right. I was like holding my cell phone and like had my credit card in the other hand, and I was like, it would have been so easy to have like a Bill Me Later, and I could have just it was like the same thing as a credit card. I could just put in my email address, my password, and then I'd be billed later.
Ordinarily, you feel like, you want to be within your budget and so forth, but then this sort of allows you, well, you can splurge and it's still reasonable, it's still controllable, but you can splurge.
The things I didn't like, though, is take care of the bill later, because again, I'm thinking that it's gaining credit charges while you're doing that. Just 3 steps, I didn't like that either. Setting up later, anything that came later, funding, things like that, just seemed to me that you're trying to build up credit, and it's just another way to suck people in to debt.
Most of my purchases on Amazon are one time are usually $60, $70, $80, which I wouldn't put on Bill Me Later. I usually use that for larger things.
For a high-end luxury thing, they're talking about high-end luxury. 3 months is not enough time for most people, I don't think.
So what would be a good amount of time, do you think? If
Sure,
it was
a year.
It would outweigh the word splurge. Instead of thinking, oh, let me splurge and get this now, and I can pay for it in 6 months from now. But the thought of another bill coming, I can go buy it anywhere and just pay the bill on it.
And why take it out of your bank if you don't have to? Why go your savings that are already,
Keep earning interest.